Here's a little persuasion lesson for you. This comes courtesy of Mark Schneider, our favorite nuclear energy advocate. Mark points out, and I didn't know this. This was brand new information for me. He says in his tweet, inside the spent fuel containers at commercial sites, you know, the ones that are just producing electricity, inside those fuel containers, the spent fuel, are solid fuel assemblies, and they showed a picture of one. And I thought, that really changes how you see this. This comes courtesy of Mark Schneider, our favorite nuclear energy advocate. And he had this realization, which he tweeted about, which I thought was amazingly clever and good persuasion. And it goes like this. I'll just read you his tweet. It just occurred to me why nuclear waste leaks scare people. The waste from weapons production was stored as a liquid. All right, so you get it, right? If you knew that nuclear waste was liquid, that's pretty scary. Because you think, well, if it's liquid, isn't it going to melt through the bottom of whatever you put it in if you wait long enough? Are you sure that thing is well sealed? Can't that liquid get out? And then Mark points out, and I didn't know this. This was brand new information for me. He says in his tweet, inside the spent fuel containers at commercial sites, you know, the ones that are just producing electricity, inside those fuel containers, the spent fuel, are solid fuel assemblies, and they showed a picture of one. They're actually like physical solid tubes in sort of a structure that holds them together. And I thought, I didn't have time, I was going to print out a picture and show it to you. Yeah, they're rods, physical rods. And I thought, that really changes how you see this. If you said to somebody, to control nuclear waste, we've got to put these hard rods inside a container, isn't that a completely different mental model than any kind of a liquid waste? Am I right? It completely changes how you feel about the risk, doesn't it? Let me test that on you. If you knew that it was a solid, doesn't that tell you, well, yeah, we can definitely put a solid in a container and it'll probably stay there forever? Somebody says they already knew that. Well, I didn't know it. And let me point out what makes this so good. So this is persuasion-wise. First of all, it's visual. Visual persuasion always wins. So if the way I'm telling you is not nearly as persuasive as if you saw the picture I'm merely describing. You see it, and you go, oh, that does look safe. So it's visual, it's simple. You know, weapons used to use nuclear waste, would have nuclear waste. Commercial ones, the ones we care about, don't. Pretty simple. And it's also a contrast play, because he's contrasting how safe these solid ones are with what you imagine was less safe, the liquid version. So you got contrast, simplicity, it's visual, and it reframes the argument. Perfect. Perfect persuasion.